Hello again. It's me, Bread G Man. We're doing this shit again. Sorry this entry has been a bit late. I've been a tad busy. I also wanted this to come out after 0.2 released because I wanted to play it. Also, this is the first video to actually have a script.
Hooray!
Which is pretty awesome. This is the 5th version of the script. You can see why this took me so long. So if yesterday's speed paint wasn't a hint enough, today we're doing a double concept since 2017 X isn't exactly complex, and we know very little about Dr. No Eyes here. We'll start with Imperfect since all we really know is that he's an imperfect copy of X, he's mute, and he has some relation to the other Outcome Memories exclusive killers. Imperfect, created and owned by Sobii, who's also the owner of Outcome Memories. Imperfect is an entity who wanted to perfectly imitate X and his legacy, but something went wrong and now he's malformed and shit. We've gotten so meta that EXEs copy each other in universe now. It's getting bad, guys. Personally, I always thought that Mr. Imperfect here was an attempt at copying X by the entity that controls Outcome Memories, possibly so they didn't have to deal with the actual X and his shenanigans, because X is full of shenanigans. They fucked up, but I mean, it was a good try. I mean, you got the basic shape, you know, teeth poking out of his face, he's probably in constant agony, he can't speak, he looks fucked up, actually. These legs, drawing them is a nightmare. Fuck you, Sobii, for giving this guy such fucked up legs. Like, it's so annoying to draw. This one, I just tried to make him a more stealthy 2011X, since he is a free killer, and he's a copy of X, so he would be very similar to X, obviously. But he's more stealthy, because he just looks stealthy. On to the passives. Imperfect's first passive is Out of Sight, Out of Mind. Imperfect's terror radius is based on the view of the survivor. I made a little diagram to show you. Basically, if he's in the green area, chase won't technically start. If they're in the red area, it will. This view is based on the model of the player rather than the camera, since A, that'd probably be a coding nightmare. I know that Roblox is really shitty in its coding. And B, Imperfect could go for a seemingly unsuspecting target, only to be spotted because Knuckles was looking back with his camera, even though his model was forward. When not in chase, Imperfect is 15% faster than the normal 2011X, possibly doing some galloping-ass animation with them long-ass legs, or something, just so the player knows that they are not being spotted, other than the speed boost. Imperfect's M1s deal 50 damage, however hitting a survivor triggers chase. Also, his hit speed is the average 2011X speed at all times. I would have opened with the base stats, but they get changed around a lot, so yeah. Conversely, when Imperfect is in chase, his M1s only deal 30 damage, and he is 15% slower than the regular 2011X, or about the same speed as Kool-Aid here. I don't know how much slower Colossus is compared to 2011X. I'm just assuming 15% because it doesn't really seem like that much. His final passive is double jump. He has a double jump. It's like Eggman's double jump, except the timer moves twice as fast, so he gets it back twice as fast. That's it. Imperfect's first ability is Translucent and Jump Scare with a cooldown of 5 seconds, but that will change if you use Jump Scare. I'll get into that. Similar to my Lord X concept, Imperfect can go invisible, but it's not perfect. Imperfect can be seen if you look hard enough. The real difference is that this ability has a special attack. While Cloaked, attempting to use M1 will cause Imperfect to lunge forward. Attempting to use M1 will cause Imperfect to lunge forward, disabling Cloak. Catching a survivor will cause a minigame to play, and Imperfect will begin to scratch and claw at the survivor until he is stunned, or the survivor is downed, killed, or wiggles free. It has roughly the same DPS as the 2011X grab as well, downing or killing at 15 HP. If the jump scare is used, the cooldown is raised to a fat 20 seconds regardless of if it hit or not. Another drawback is that Imperfect only gets the out-of-sight speed boost, which is 15%, and cannot jump. Imperfect can also be stunned while cloaked, however, the stun only has half the duration. Also, the low gravity of 2011X's invis is the same, so you can do
Hooray!
So I didn't want to make a 2011X clone, even though he is a 2011X clone. So the next ability is Up in Smoke, with a cooldown of 20 seconds, and the cloud lasts for about 10 seconds. This ability would cause Imperfect to do a minor windup before releasing smoke from his eyes or hands or something. The smoke would make your screen all gray and wonky, and Imperfect would be able to see the outline of survivors in the smoke. While in the smoke, Imperfect is always in out-of-sight mode, and survivors only have a faint outline of him. It's basically a way to split up survivors, because you can't get your abilities if they're all looking at you. You can also use this ability while cloaked, however the cooldown is raised to 30 seconds. The next ability is called Fuck You Tape, Glide of the False God, with a cooldown of 15 seconds. So he's got these big-ass, freaky-ass legs, right? So why not give him a big-ass jump? Because he's got them like frog legs, so give him a frog jump. Imperfect would do a little crouch, and after a sound cue or something, you can click and launch yourself wherever the camera is looking. Then you can glide in the midair. You can glide in the air because he floats. That makes sense. Yeah, I added this because he has really shitty mobility otherwise, so yeah. Side note, you can use this while invisible, but it doesn't have the same low gravity effects. So anyways, that's Super Mobile Spy TF2. We have literally nothing but like 2 sentences to go on, so I think I did okay. Very stealthy killer with some hints of 2011X abilities. He's not super overpowered since he will be free. Anyways, enough about this eyeless, mouthless, noseless, frog leg looking ass motherfucker. Let's get down to the reason you clicked on this video. (2017X). Currently, 2017X is owned by Alepie, however the legacy variant, which is the one used in Outcome Memories, was made by Raven. Raven also co-owns 2011X, which is pretty cool. So, Sonic is an entity who fully believes that he's Ogilvy Maurice Hedgehog, like that one weird kid down the street. This version in particular is also very violent when someone says he isn't Sonic, like that one weird kid down the street. And if you tell him that he's not Sonic, he's gonna turn into this fucking thing. Yeah. Anyways, this version is not to be confused with this one. John Subterfuge and Mr. Grippers over here are separate. Basically, this one murders people, and this one kind of doesn't, sorta. Yeah. On to the passives. Okay, so base stats, his damage is 25, his speed is 20% faster than 2011X, his hit speed is 0.5 seconds. His first passive is lightweight, it's self-explanatory. 2017X is more susceptible to stuns and knockback. Each stun is 10% longer. I added this to counter how fast he is, it'd be very difficult to get out of chase otherwise. Anyways, on to the abilities. Noise, with a cooldown of 20 seconds. It's an indicator. He stops dead in his tracks and does the classic Sonic crouch animation for about 3 seconds before getting indicators similar to Colossus for 10 or so seconds. That's it. Second ability is Zoom, with a cooldown of 20 seconds. 2017X would do a peel out windup that can be interrupted before sprinting forward faster than Sonic's peel out, so about the same speed as Colossus's charge. But the downside is that you have very difficult to control ice physics if you want to turn, similar to this one level in Sonic Frontiers. I guess it would be like drifting physics or something. I don't know. That's the only real example I have, but I remember this being really fucking annoying, so yeah. While you're doing this, you can slam into a survivor, dealing knockback and 35 damage. It also ends the ability, because, you know, smacking into somebody at Mach 10 tends to stop you. That's it. Also, I forgot to mention, but you would be slowed for a couple seconds after smacking into somebody. The next ability would be an ability known as Lock On, with a cooldown of 25 seconds. 2017X curls into a ball, and like in most Sonic games, it's just a homing attack. It can select up to 3 targets and deal 20 damage on hit. Very simple. It also can be countered. It does have a bit of a wind-up, so it can be avoided by getting out of sight and can be interrupted, because an ability that always hits and does damage no matter what is unfun and not cool, especially when the survivor literally cannot stop you without being punished. Grip wire. Anyways, that's it, guys. Yeah, I was gonna do a fake out, but no, we still have one more. Broken face form. It's essentially rage mode. It has one use when the bar is full. 2017X will Hulk out and turn into that fucking thing. You're much slower, about the same as base 2011X, however stuns do basically nothing, similar to rage mode. Now you do 45 damage and have the average 2011X hit speed. He also does sweep similar to my EYX concept, hitting up to 3 survivors. Also, all of your abilities get changed. Yeah, you thought this was going to be a boring ass concept, huh? Nah. Only the best for the real Sonic. Also, yeah, there's a meter. It works like Rage, and 2017X's face gets more broken with each stun, yada yada. Pauses the timer, takes 1 minute 30 to end. I didn't mention it, so we could have the cool reveal. Let's move on to the broken face abilities now. Oh, I hear a voice. Definitely not a subterfuge reference. Shut up. Cooldown of 15 seconds. It replaces noise. Slows down 2017X only a little instead of stopping. Same 10 seconds of indicators, very similar to Colossus's indicator, and that's about it. Rampage, with a cooldown of 30 seconds. It replaces zoom. Instead of boosting forward and slamming into someone, 2017 will instead come barreling forward with reckless abandon, swinging his arms when someone is in his path. Each swing does knockback and causes knockback and does 20 damage. Counters and shields block damage and give iframes, however they do not stop the rampage. Nothing can stop the rampage, except Metal Sonic, because when the Metal Sonic Clash gets added, you can do that with 2017X, because that's fucking awesome. The final broken face ability would be Slash, which replaces the homing attack thing, with a cooldown of 20 seconds. After a short windup, 2017 lunges forward in a big-ass slash, ragdolling any survivor's hit and dealing 40 damage. That's it. So this took a long-ass time to write. Honestly, I'm not too satisfied with 2017's concept, but this is like version 4, so fuck off. I think I did great with Imperfect, though. With the limited material I had, I didn't have much to go on. I didn't really know his abilities whatsoever. We have no clue what he can do other than just like shittier 2011X abilities. So I think I did okay. Please feel free to critique me in the comments, because A, I need engagement, and B, I want to see what you guys would have done. Yeah, that's it. Also, no, it's not, actually. We're adding a new segment to these videos. Map predictions. For 2017X, it's pretty obvious he's going to get the city with the fire and shit. For Imperfect, he's probably going to get an Outcome Memories original map. Possibly an odd, distorted X's castle. That would fit since he's a copy of X, but obviously it'd be fucked up or something. Call it like Amalgam Map, because it would have other elements of other maps. Something like that. Anyways, that's it. Luxie's first video in his own series on the Survivors is out, and you better go fucking watch it. Anyways, the next video is on Dr. Redman, so look out for that.
Sobii, add my OC to the game, and also let me voice Genesis X, because it would be really funny, because we're both named Trevor, and my life is yours.